Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Mortal Will event in Dbz Dokkan Metal, and we're taking a look at the Mortal Will stage and how you can beat it with no items. So this stage has pretty interesting mechanic. So let's talk about that before we talk about the team build and everything. So essentially this stage, how it works is Trunks has a mechanic here whereby he essentially will change into his physical state, so a physical phase, which is based on his standby skill, and that physical phase is significantly tougher in terms of raw defense than the int phase. So you do a little bit less damage, which is quite crucial. On top of that as well, he does hit a little bit harder, not too much harder, but he does hit harder. So there is a little bit of difficulty there. On top of that, of course, there is also the factor that Trunks hits very hard in base. Very, very hard in base. So you're stuck in a situation where you have to kind of counteract the int phase, but in doing so you have to also counteract the physical phase. So you can't really bring only physical units. You need to bring some kind of strength unit so that that unit can do some pretty significant damage, which is very important. And then you also need to obviously bring the correct amounts of counter to the int phase. So it's a little bit of a balancing act, and that's what makes it so interesting. Now, a big, strong counter to this unit is himself. So obviously, big thing is Trunks can do multiple super attacks. If he has the opportunity to pop off, then he can really lower that bar. And you can actually, if you have two Trunkses, you can actually almost get a whole extra turn on the int phase. I tried the two Trunks' strategy. It was very good, but unfortunately my tanky units I don't think are good enough for me to facilitate that functionality. So for me, it is definitely something that you kind of have to. It's a balancing act, right, between choosing offensive units and choosing non-offensive units. And to be honest with you, Strength LR Future Gohan, I did not fancy as a tank at all. I'm using him now predominantly as a floater, and that seems to be where I'm getting the best results with him for these no item runs. When I'm looking at him for standard hard content, when I'm able to use a Whis or a Icarus or something to beef up that pre-super damage reduction, then he's looking really good and he's becoming a mainstay of the main rotation. However, in events whereby I'm having to go no item, find myself enjoying him as a floater. Then when he's fully built up, becoming a second slot unit. That tends to be what I'm enjoying. Now, how this team build works is pretty straightforward. We have a couple high evasion units that are literally just existing to give it horns. So these guys are just existing to not die to super attacks, which is not maybe the most fun, or even normals. Like, these guys are literally existing to avoid damage as much as possible. And these units are obviously Int Mai, who's a fantastic option. And then we also have the Strength Trunks and Mai, who are surprisingly an incredibly good option for this stage. So that was really, really enjoyable to be able to use them. And obviously type advantage is a predominant factor in determining whether they are good or not. But yeah, they are surprisingly very good in a lot of these events because of their 70% evasion that they gain against Future Saga units, which is very, very impressive, basically, or time travelers units, I should say. But it's actually really, really working out quite well for me, so I've actually really enjoyed using them in a lot of these no item runs. And I think it's been a little surprise. A very good surprise, but a nice little surprise to be able to utilize a unit specifically for this red zone. Yeah, I think outside of this red zone they're okay, but I find that in this red zone, or these red zones, this Dismal Future red zone, they really do have like a really solid kind of foundation to work up on. So very happy with their overall performance, and yeah, they do a very good job. Very good job. So yeah, Trunks and Mai, very solid. Mai, very solid. Then yes, I have Allow Future Gohan. Like I said, the ultimate plan with him is to actually manifest him into a second slot unit once he's fully built up and ready to go. So that's a very crucial for him, and obviously, you know, using his active skill and things of such nature, and he's got that type advantage as well. So it is very important to obviously have him kind of hoist in that position. Then we have AGL, Vegito, or Goku and Vegeta. We have two of them because, honestly speaking, I really enjoyed using them for these no item runs as a first slot tank. Maybe it's because we're running no item, maybe it's because of just the way the stages are, but we're very reliably getting the active skill at just the right time, and their tanking and specifically their dodge is really pulling us through in the beginning phases. It's really allowing units like Trunks and Gohan to just kind of do their thing, which I think is very important. And yes, there is the odd occasion whereby Vegeta and Goku gets hit by a super attack early on and you take a lot of damage. But I find overall that they're really producing consistent results that are really good. And obviously when you transform into Vegito, well then it's just, yeah, basically you're pretty close to the win. Anytime I'm able to get them to transform into Vegito, it honestly feels like that's the win condition. Because the way they boost the rest of the rotation, the damage that they can do themselves, it's very good. That 50% flat boost onto the rest of the rotation, especially when you're the second slot units are units like Trunks and like Future Gohan, is very good. So we're talking really solid foundationary stuff here. So yeah, really good team performance, and yeah, it synergizes well, obviously with, you know, Trunks' own standby skill. It synergizes well with Allow Future Gohan's own domain. So there's a lot of like good, you know, synergy between them and the rest of the team, and yeah, just overall really good stuff. Honestly, really enjoyed just how well they do. And then obviously we have, you know, Gogeta here, who's fantastic, and he's going to, you know, do his own thing with his evasion and his damage output. So yeah, just very good stuff. We're really just kind of securing the win at this point. We're using Trunks' standby skill to give us a really good first slot tank. We're using Vegeta's active skill to give him as many buffs as possible, and then we're using Gogeta in the second slot to guarantee not being hit, and basically to give ourselves a good little damage boost. So yeah, really good stuff. Once you get to this stage with a lot of these teams, with all these active skills and transformations and that, you have, I don't want to say you've won, but most times you've won. Because a lot of the times, like the bosses, they can't handle the damage that's thrown out to them. Defensively, the units are fine, whether it's for 1 turn or 2 turns. And yeah, just in general, you end up with a really strong performance. So yeah, really good stuff. This team did great. Loved using it. Took some tweaking. I was definitely fiddling around with this one a little bit. But yeah, I'd say overall it was a really good run. And yeah, I really enjoyed using this team at the end of the day. So yeah, that's basically going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, If you're looking to do no item runs, give it a shot. But otherwise, if you just want to use the Steam build, give it a go. But that's basically going to be it for me. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, as always, take care, stay safe, and bye.